Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Kev's Movie Corner. I am Kev, and this week we are talking about King Kong. King Kong was the original King Kong. Let me get that clear, because I was talking with somebody that I work with today who, when I said the original King Kong, she said, I like that movie, it's the one with Jack Black. Which is not this King Kong. That is Kong. Was he in Kong Skull Island, or was he in the other King Kong? Actually, this is I didn't prepare very well for this, because I just thought about this while I was doing this. He was in the King Kong film from 2005. This one that we watched this week, if you watched along with us, was from 1933, which is now almost 100 years old, which is kind of crazy to think about. It stars Fay Wray, Robert Armstrong, and Bruce Cabot. If you're going back to the if you're thinking about the other ones, those characters, Fay Wray plays Ann Darrow, who was played by Naomi Watts in the 2005 one. Jack Black is Carl Denham, who is the movie producer who's wanting to make this film about King Kong. That is played by Robert Armstrong, and Bruce Cabot is the love interest of Ann Darrow in the movie, or becomes the love interest in the movie, and that is played by Adrian Brody in the 2005 version. So, now that we've gotten that out of the way, if you've seen this one or the one again from 2005, you'll know it's about a movie producer who's heard a story about this giant creature on an island, Skull Island, and decides to go there and try to capture it on film, and takes a lady along with him. I don't know if it's really supposed to be a love interest. It ends up being kind of a love interest to Kong, because he kind of falls for the beautiful lady in the movie. The 1933 movie is, according to Rotten Tomatoes, the greatest horror film of all time. And in the AFI list, it is number 41 on their top 100 films of all time. It's a good movie. If you've seen the 2005 version, you've probably seen this movie. The only thing that is the biggest difference with this one, and if you've watched very many of these, it's not as noticeable in a lot of other movies, but in this one for sure, it is amazing what we used to think was good effects. Because Kong in this movie, and the dinosaurs and the other creatures in this movie, look amazingly fake. Which is mean, I guess. It was the 1930s, so the fact that they were able to do what they did is still kind of crazy. But Kong, it's like a stop motion animation almost, is what it looks like when he's moving around. I can't tell if it's like a claymation or not. When they do up closes on his face, it looks like a giant puppet almost. But when he's like moving around in the scenes, it looks again like it's claymation, like stop motion, like, you move him, you take a picture, you move him a little bit, you take another picture, you move him a little bit, you take another picture. And it's weird to watch, because they integrate that with the normal motion of people when they're kind of, moving around. When, like, you just have a scene with just the people, they're moving normally, so it's not. So they're interwoven together, which makes it a little kind of odd looking at times. Still a good movie. There is a lot of. It was the 1930s, so there is a little bit of, sexism and I didn't. There wasn't a ton of. I didn't notice a ton of racism. There is a tribe on the island, but it didn't seem overtly racist. That's probably wrong, but it didn't. It wasn't like. It didn't seem overtly racist, but I mean, besides the tribe is all whatever, but all black people. But that's besides the point. There is some, again, sexual comments in it, not sexual comments, but sexism in it. They talk about not wanting to have a woman on a boat because she doesn't belong there and things like that. But again, it is a good movie. It's something fun to watch. It's cool to see where, again, this, like, MonsterVerse, original movie monsters kind of thing kind of started. Like, I don't know if there was a Dracula or anything like that before the 1930s or the Mummy or anything. But this was kind of, in the early stages of that, and it's not even as easy as doing, like, Dracula or the Mummy or something like that, because it's, those characters are still, they are or were at one point human, so it's not as difficult as making an 8 that is 2 stories tall. Another thing I noticed with this that is that I noticed almost, well, the first time you see King Kong, is that he's not as big as he's portrayed nowadays. When he was holding Fay Ray's character, Andaro, when he's holding her, she's like in his hand, like she's her legs stick out the bottom, her head sticks out the top. He's kind of just, his hand wraps around her torso, which is, it's a big monkey, big ape, whatever. But I know in one of the more recent Kong movies, Kong Skull Island, which was the first in that series of the MonsterVerse with, like, Godzilla and stuff like that. When he holds the girl in that one, she's like, her entire body fits into, like, his palm, like head to toe in his palm. So they've made him, it seems, a lot bigger over the years, and I don't know if that's just because they can, and it, it's not as difficult to do now with computer graphics, or if they, figure that people nowadays want bigger and scarier, or think that it needs to be bigger and scarier. I don't really know, but it's interesting. They seem to have made him a lot, like, 2 to 3 times the size that he used to be, which is kind of crazy. This movie, King Kong, the 1933 version, I know I've jumped it back and forth a lot, but so I'm sorry about that. It is in the Library of Congress. It was put in 1991 for being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. And it has been selected for preservation in the National Film Registry. There are other movies in this line. Son of Kong was a sequel, of course. I mean, we do this. In the original one, Kong dies at the end. just what happens. He gets shot down by, he gets shot off the top of the Empire State Building by a bunch of planes, or by 4 planes, as he's trying to, I guess, escape with Andaro, the Beauty and the Beast type ordeal. But again, it is something to watch. I would recommend it to anybody who wants to see something, see like where this stuff came from. If you don't like old movies, or the same girl that I talked to, again, this is a, the same girl that I talked to today who said that she loved King Kong because it had Jack Black in it. She also told me she doesn't watch anything before much before 1990 because it's too old and she can't be lost in it, which is crazy to me. But anyway, so if it's something that, if you get taken out of the movie by kind of weird looking things that don't look smooth or realistic, this is probably not going to do it for you. But if you like classic movies, or you want to just see where this came from, it is something to watch that is worth the watch. It's only about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, so it's a pretty quick watch too. But anyway, I think that is all I've got for you this week, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with all your insufficient friends. I think that's the wrong podcast, but we're going to go with it anyway. Leave a comment, and next week, before I go, we're going to go away from the list for a week. We're going to be doing Nikki's going to be joining me to talk about the Taylor Swift concert movie thing. I don't know. With her new album coming out, we're doing a kind of a double thing with the podcast and this. So we're going to be watching that on Disney Plus and reporting back. So again, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share with all your friends, and I will talk to you next week.